I saw this movie called Super.
I know you did.
Now, Super was buzzed about a lot in Toronto and was picked up by IFC. And Rainn Wilson, who is starting to become a little bit of a movie actor, he's got a very, shall we say, specific face that doesn't really lend itself to everything.
Yeah.
Rainn Wilson plays a schlubby chef who's had 2 perfect days in his life. The first one was when he thwarted a robbery when he was younger, and the second day was when he got to marry Liv Tyler. And the film starts with Liv Tyler being basically stolen away by this evil drug lord played by Kevin Bacon. So now you've got this schlubby guy. The only thing he's ever loved is taken away from him. The only other important day in his life is when he foiled a robbery when he was younger. That means he has everything he needs, a desire to stop crime, a desire to save the damsel. He has everything he needs to become a homemade superhero. Now let's take a look at a clip, and then we'll talk more about it.
We did it! We did it! We totally fucking beat evil!
You're not supposed to kill him!
Oh, and then he'd never key a car again, would he? A brand new fucking Jetta, Frank! Melissa loved that car!
Don't say that!
What, Frank?
Don't stop saying! Ow! Oh, fuck! You really keyed your friend's car?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him. Frank! What? I didn't know I wasn't supposed to kill him. I mean, I'm just learning. You have to teach me these things.
How am I supposed to tell crime to shut up if I have to shut up?
I know, but I'm just trying to help. That's what it's all about for me, being a kid's sidekick, helping people.
That's helping people?
And he was evil. He was so fucking evil, and you won't believe me, Frank. Frank!
So there you see Rainn Wilson in his guise as the Crimson Bolt, along with his partner Bolty, played by Ellen Page, the best performance in the film. Now here's what I have to say about Super, which works up to a point, but ultimately I think fails as a whole. The movie is very violent, and it's sort of that street level violence where because Crimson Bolt doesn't have any special powers, he basically just takes a wrench and starts hitting people on the head. And he takes cinder blocks and beats them over the head with them. And the violence is very sudden and very street level and very jarring. And I kind of like some of it, but towards the end, it starts to get really violent to the point where it's a little off-putting. Something else I did like about the film is that it brings up 2 things, I think, of superhero culture, which is interesting. One is essentially the psychotic nature of anybody who would want to be a superhero. I think this kind of gets into that a little bit, which I liked. The other thing I thought was interesting, which the Bolty character sort of embodies, is sort of the fetishistic nature of superhero fan culture. And in the movie, Ellen Page has kind of a crush on Crimson Bolt. Of course, not a crush on Rainn Wilson, but a crush on the character he plays. And I thought that was kind of interesting. The issue here is that James Gunn comes from the trauma school. Now, when you come from the trauma school, that means one thing. You just throw everything at the screen. You don't care how cheesy it is, how bad it is, willfully bad or not. You throw it all up there and you hope for the best, because that's trauma. And this film really is tonally all over the place. It's got some good ideas, but in the end, it just doesn't come together as a whole. And I think Rainn Wilson doesn't really invest us emotionally in the character, and the end of the film winds up being so mawkish because he can't really take us there. So while there's some good stuff to it, and I think that the hipster crowd will get a kick out of it, ultimately as a whole, I would just have to give it a rent. That's what I think about Super, Wade.
All right.
Not so super.
I mean,
kind of super.
So how does it compare to Defendor?
I like Defender a lot. I like Defender more than this.
Okay, because I actually like Defender, and I actually kind of like Special, even though it was very kind of low rent with Michael Rappaport. Similar deal, except there he's, you know, ramming his head into walls, which I found disturbing.
Well, and Kick-Ass, which this is a little bit like. We both love Kick-Ass.
Oh,
you know. But Kick-Ass was...
Was that sarcasm?
No, we love Kick-Ass.
For real. No, we did.
That was one of the biggest raves of the year we
But
did
it was,
last year.
but the problem with Kick-Ass was it was horrendously mismarketed, much the same way that Paul is being mismarketed. You know, they marketed both of those to the wrong audience. Kick-Ass was not a movie for teenagers, and neither is Paul. They should both be marketed to people in their 40s.
But the problem is that the studios are afraid that people in their 40s don't run out to see films on opening weekend.
Yeah, so leave them in longer.
How are you going to have bragging rights to be the #1 film if you market to 40-year-olds, Wade?
It's a myth. No one cares what the #1 film is. Just like people don't care what #1 on the Billboard charts is.
Well,
they don't care.
Well, definitely Billboard. But you know what? On Sunday, on Sunday afternoon, you start reading on CNN.com and on all the sites
Yeah.
which film is number one. And you know, it gets annoying
No one
too.
cares.
It gets annoying too when you have movies that are like really neck and neck.
Yeah.
You know, where like one makes $21 million and the other one makes $20.8 million. And yet the one that makes 21 it gets all the bragging rights.
You know what bragging rights are? 50 years after you make a movie, they release a special edition.
No, you know why? Because
That's bragging
no,
rights.
no, because the stockholders are not going to wait 50 years in order to see a return on their investment on
Yeah,
Kick-Ass
well,
and Sucker Punch and all this other crap.
some may hang on to their stocks for that long.
I will not be alive for that much longer, unfortunately. In fact, I'll be dying tonight after the show.